Hello, very beautiful, beloved soul friends. Welcome to another Conversations with Kristin, that beautiful time of your day where you explore the unconscious mind from the inside out. So today I'd like to talk about the truth about insomnia. It's a little bit more or different than you might think it is. So what happens is when we address mental health battles or any kind of internal battle from the surface level, we don't resolve the underlying issue. And so if there's a plant and it's growing out the ground and it's got these roots and you pick off a leaf, then the leaf is just going to grow back. If you pull the plant out but the roots are still there, you might not see the plant anymore, but it's going to grow back. If you just get a little piece of the roots and the top plant, then you might not see it anymore, and you might think you got some of the roots, but the depths of the roots are still there and it's going to grow back. And it's the same thing with any kind of internal battle, whether it's a battle with the mind or emotions or action patterns, mental, emotional action patterns, all kinds of internal battles that are reducing our quality of life. We have to get to the core root of what's actually happening so that we can resolve the battle. Okay? So insomnia, at the surface level, it's I can't sleep. I don't feel tired. I feel restless. I toss and turn. It's hard to fall asleep. I wake up a lot during the night. I have racing thoughts. I have intrusive thoughts. I have a fear of the dark. There might be a variety of things. My body can't relax. Everything feels tense inside of me. It's hard to calm my mind down, to just let things go. I don't feel completely safe to fall asleep. There could be a variety of things that are happening, okay? So, where does insomnia actually come from? Because once we get to the root of it, it can be completely healed and transformed. You won't need medications to sleep. It won't be a lifelong battle. You won't need decades of therapy. It's something that can be deeply and completely healed and transformed rapidly, readily. It can happen. It can really, truly, deeply happen. Insomnia can be healed and resolved. But you have to get to the underlying core causality of it. Okay, so our unconscious mind is filled with all of these layers of neurobiological data. Okay, unconscious mind filled with neurobiological layers of data. We know about what's on the top part of it. Okay, so when you're moving through and you're at the grocery store and you're like, okay, I've got this list and I need bananas, milk, and eggs. That's coming from a piece of neurobiological data stored in your conscious memory systems. Okay, when you're moving through life and you're like, yeah, remember that one time last week we went to the county fair and we got to go on the Ferris wheel and I was all the way up at the top and it was like, oh my goodness, it was so thrilling and I got to overlook the whole city. That was a lot of fun. That's a piece of information that's being projected from energetic data housed in your conscious memory systems. Okay, so you've got all this conscious memory system stuff and it's helping you consciously navigate your way through life. But then there are even more memories in your unconscious memory system, and those are unconsciously, automatically, instinctively, innately, automatically happening, helping you navigate life. Okay, so conscious memories help you consciously navigate life, but unconscious memories are providing even more information that help you automatically navigate life. So when you wake up in the morning and you move through your days, the way that you know how to go about doing stuff comes from activation of these implicit procedural memories. Okay, when you walk into a kitchen and you recognize that's a toaster, that's a sink, that's a refrigerator, that's a counter, that is a napkin. And you have an automatic capacity to know what to do with things. Like you don't go to the toaster and you're like, I'm going to wash my hands. You don't go to a toaster to wash your hands. You don't go to the sink to warm up a slice of bread. You have an innate knowing about how to recognize things and how to interact with things. All of that information is coming from activation of implicit or unconscious memories, implicit memory data from unconscious memory systems. So when you can recognize something, when you know how to interact with something instinctively, that's all coming from activation of implicit memories. 80% of decision making comes from activation of these memory systems. When you look at your closet and pick out an outfit to wear before going out with friends or family or to a work event or whatever it is, when you go through and you look at your clothes hanging in the closet or in a drawer, whatever it is, 80% of the way that you move through the decision making to choose your outfit has nothing to do with the current moment. It has nothing to do with what you're consciously deciding. The majority about how you choose an outfit has to do with activation of implicit memory data. Okay? And understanding implicit memory systems is really, really important for understanding insomnia. Okay? All right, so we've got conscious stuff in our subconscious realms, consciously accessible data. We know about that. That's not relevant. Okay, we know about that stuff. What we don't know about is the unconscious stuff in our unconscious mind or subconscious realms. And that is implicit memory systems. And then below that, even more unconscious than the most unconscious of memory systems, according to my diagrams of consciousness I've created, called the Pyramid of Personhood and the Liberated Consciousness Diagram. Even more unconscious than the most unconscious of memory systems are attachment systems. And these systems do not house particulars of life. Instead, they hold abstract, energetic vibrations of love in association with the fulfillment of attachment needs. So when there's a moment, in one given moment, and there's a felt sense of safety and security and protection and provision and feeling seen and feeling loved and feeling treasured and feeling appreciated and feeling celebrated and feeling supported and feeling a sense of close connection and vulnerable support and collaborative community and feeling recognized and embraced and respected and feeling like there's a sense of directional guidance for you to just be you, an opportunistic space for you to just be you. That moment holds a high frequency of love vibrations, and that energetic frequency is stored as abstract data in attachment systems. So what does this have to do with insomnia? I'm so glad you asked. Let's explore. Let's explore. So, what happens when you are experiencing insomnia? Where is that experience neurobiologically coming from in association with subconscious data stored in the neural networks of your brain and your body? Because you have 100 trillion neural networks in your brain, and you have even more neural networks in your body. You have mini brains all throughout your body. The ganglia in your body stores information that affects you beyond your awareness. Okay? When there are instances of insomnia, when you cannot sleep at night, it has to do with the activation of implicit procedural memories that are stored in a way, so they're stored in a way that they're on top of attachment data with a low vibrational frequency, and the memory data has not been able to effectively connect with the pieces. In each moment, there's an energetic vibrational frequency of love in association with the abstract fulfillment of attachment needs. Abstract, energetic, vibrational frequency of love. And then there are the particulars of our life experience, what's actually happening in moments. Like the abstract vibrational frequency of love has to do with fulfillment of attachment needs. The actual moment might be, I'm looking at a leaf. Okay? So each moment has this abstract energy of love based on the vibrational fulfillment of attachment needs. And then there are the particulars of experiential elements within each moment. Okay? And so when moments are stored inside of our unconscious mind, the first piece of energetic data to be filed away is a piece of attachment system data based on the abstract vibration of love, based on the just abstract, generic, non-specific vibrational feeling of attachment needs feeling fulfilled, the felt sense. It's not, I am factually safe. It's, I feel a sense of vibrational, energetic, sensational safety. That's what that is. A vibrational frequency of love is stored inside of attachment system. Based on that vibrational frequency, experiential elements of the particulars of a moment are then stored inside of memory systems on top of attachment systems. When attachment data vibrates at a low frequency of love, memory data vibrates at a low frequency of connectivity. And it produces undercoupling or overcoupling of memory system data. Okay? You tracking with me, soul friends? Is this making some sense? Is this making some sense? Each moment has an abstract frequency of love based on the vibrational feeling of attachment need fulfillment. And then the particulars of the moment are stored on top of that information in our subconscious realms. And so if a moment has felt sense of safety and all this stuff, that moment vibrates at a high frequency of love. And then the memory system comes in and it vibrates at a high frequency of connectivity, and everything gets stored away and it's all tucked in super neat and everything is super operational, and then everything flows really readily. There's ease within the energetic flows of our subconscious data. There's ease within the energetic vibrational flows of our unconscious mind. Okay? But when a moment doesn't have a high vibrational frequency of love because one or more attachment needs are not fulfilled, then memory data comes in to get stored and it vibrates at a low frequency of connectivity, and it can't make connections with all the other stuff going on. It overlaps and gets jumbled up with stuff, or it is completely isolated and can't make any connections at all. It's overcoupling and undercoupling, types of disintegrated data, or data that it doesn't have the thriving connections that it's intended to. Okay? The other really important thing to understand here is that memory systems have nothing to do with storing the past. That's not their purpose. The purpose of memory systems are to help us navigate current moments and potential moments. And so memory data doesn't care about what's happened. It is stored to help us survive by understanding stuff in the now and potentials of stuff that might happen. And so memory data becomes activated to help us move through things. So when you walk in a kitchen, your ability to know that you walk to a toaster to toast your slice of bread and you walk to a sink to wash your hands comes from activation of memory data. But if memory data isn't filed away neatly, then you might walk in a kitchen and not know those things. Okay, so that's the importance of memory. That's kind of the role that these unconscious, implicit, procedural memories systems play in our everyday life. Okay, so we talked about how they get stored away, how they're important when they're activated. So when there are cases of insomnia, this is really, 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 really important because it can be completely healed when we get to the root of the problem. When we get to the root of the reason that these things are existing, they can completely change. 100% healing. So exciting. So exciting. What's happening when there are cases or instances or experiences of insomnia is there are activations of implicit memories stored on top of unfulfilled attachment needs. It's activation of memory systems in our implicit realms, unconscious memory systems that have not been able to achieve or gain complete connections with other pieces of data because of an unmet underlying attachment need. That's what's happening. And so when you're lying in bed and there are racing thoughts or intrusive thoughts, or you're feeling restless and you're tossing and turning and you can't relax and you can't sleep, it's because of these activations. Because our attachment systems and implicit procedural memories directly affect the regulatory capacities of our body. Our body will not understand, okay, this is the part where I just very calmly go unconscious for a few hours. Your body only knows how to do that because of integrated implicit procedural memories on top of fulfilled attachment needs, where attachment data vibrates at high frequencies of love, and that combination of subconscious intel provides the capacity for your unconscious body to have particular regulatory capacities to know how to fall asleep. Okay? So when there is an ability to just naturally fall asleep, it's coming from the activation of implicit procedural memories or implicit memory systems with an underlying attachment need that has not been fulfilled. And that's affecting the regulatory states of the unconscious body. That is the neurobiological core causality of insomnia. Insomnia can 100% completely, expansively, radically, revolutionary, complexly, deeply, dynamically heal when the underlying cause is effectively addressed. That means locating the particular piece of subconscious data that's causing the insomnia and knowing how to transmute it. Okay? So you got all these neural networks, 100 trillion neural networks in your brain and even more in your body. So that's a lot of different pathways. Like if you're in a mansion, the mansion of your unconsciousness, and each hallway is a neural network, you could literally be wandering that mansion for decades and never find the specific hallway that you're looking for. Okay, imagine that. Or better yet, imagine a mansion with 500 trillion doors. And you're wandering through endless hallways looking for one door. That is what's happening when we try to heal something. But so we go through and we're opening doors and we're opening doors and we're trying medication and we're trying therapy and we're trying this and we're trying that and we're trying this coping tool and we're trying this, and our healing isn't happening. We're not experiencing resolution. The problem persists. It's because we're opening the wrong doors. But that's understandable because there are trillions of doors. But once we know exactly what door to open and how to walk through the door, then everything changes. And that's a metaphor or an analogy for identifying the specific neural network that needs to be rewired and then knowing how to rewire it. Because once that happens, the insomnia 100% stops. It's not just reduced. It's not just temporary relief. It's not just a break from it and then it comes back. It stops for good. The rest of your life is lived with zero insomnia. Unless new implicit data comes up. That isn't stored because of a new unmet attachment need. But then you know exactly what to do. And you catch it before it becomes a problem. Because you understand the implicit wiring of your neural networks. Once you get to the thing that's actually causing the problem goes away. You don't need to be on medications for the rest of your life. You don't need to be in decades of therapy. That doesn't need to happen. You don't need to live with chronic insomnia. You don't need to live with chronic insomnia for the rest of your life. It's just a matter of finding the exact neural network where things are coming from and finding the exact way to heal it. And it might take time. It's not going to happen overnight. Neural networks don't change overnight. But something that could be a 5 to 10 year recovery thing where you're just constantly in all kinds of treatments trying to heal this insomnia stuff, what could be a 5 to 10 year battle could be reduced to a few months, maybe a year. Just kind of depending on the details, of course. Because so here's the thing. It might be one neural network where there's one piece of implicit data associated with one unfulfilled attachment need. And once you heal that, everything's fine. Or there might be a few sets of that. There might be this piece of implicit memory data with this unfulfilled attachment need. There might be this piece of implicit data with this underlying unfulfilled attachment need. There could be a few of them. And so the amount of time it takes to heal just depends on how many pieces you have of that. But once you know what you're doing and you address what's actually needing to be healed, then things start to happen really quickly. And again, it doesn't happen right away, but what could have been decades of struggling through trying to have some sense of healing or reduction of what's happening could be done in a few months or a year or two. It's just a matter of addressing the right neural networks in the right way, because our brain is constantly being rewired. Your neural networks are being rewired right now watching this video. So thank you for choosing me to be in your neural network rewiring. I appreciate being a part of your new neural data. Thank you for choosing me to be a part of your new neural data. Your brain and body, neural networks inside of you, are being reconstructed in every single moment of every single day. The rewiring is already happening. It's just a matter of knowing how to shift the energy so that you choose how it undergoes reconstructive wiring. And that's called personal power. Personal power is having the ability in your tangible grasp to choose the programming of your neurobiological structure, to choose how the data inside of your cells is wired. Because this is where your experience comes from. 100% of your personal experience comes from the activation of data inside of your brain and your body. And when you choose how this information is stored, you choose the way that you experience yourself and your life. That's a lot of power. That's a whole heck of a lot of power. That is so much power. And the power lies in the directing of your own internal energy. It's a power that can't ever be taken away from you. It's an unconditional power. You just need to know how to harness that power, where to direct it and how. Where to direct it and how. Where to direct it through attention and how to direct it through intention so that you can create the change in your life that you truly desire. Personal power. Personal power reclamation, personal power embodiment. Happiness is something we can embody. It's not just a pursuit. It's completely possible for us to embody happiness, not just pursue it. Okay? So the underlying root cause of insomnia is activation of implicit procedural data. Implicit memory system data with an underlying unfulfilled attachment need, and activation of those particular regions of networks in the brain and or body are affecting regulatory states and capacities of the body, the physical unconscious body, and that's what's causing the insomnia. Healing it is just a matter of locating the right neural networks where the insomnia is actually coming from and knowing how to transmute it. And once you do that, the insomnia is 100% healed and resolved for the rest of your life. There's no such thing as an incurable mental health battle. It does not exist. There is no such thing as an incurable mental health battle, because every kind of mental health struggle is coming from neural network wiring, and that can always 100% of the time unconditionally be transmuted. 100%. It doesn't matter where, when, why, or how deeply the stuff came from. It can be transmuted. You just got to know how to pinpoint the neural networks that need reconstruction and know how to reconstruct them. Because if you don't hit the right neural networks, you're going to be going through this mansion, opening all kinds of doors and not finding the right one. You're going to be over here rewiring, but the one that you need to be rewired is over here. So the first thing is you got to know how to identify the actual neural network that really needs the change, really needs to be healed, where stuff is actually coming from. You have to be able to pinpoint the right neural network or neural networks. And then the second thing is you have to know how to reconstruct them. Because if you reconstruct them a certain way, they just get bigger and grow. For example, if you try to heal trauma by talking through traditional psychotherapy where you just talk about the traumatic events, then the neural networks housing the trauma and the traumatic stress grow and get bigger, and the traumatic stress gets bigger. So you have to know how to reconstruct the neural networks so that they heal. Because if you try to influence their wiring the wrong way, or an ineffective energetic investment, then the neural network grows in size rather than shifting its shape. When a neural network grows in its size, then the types of experiencing it's generating get bigger. So if you try to go about rewiring neural networks, but you mistakenly cause their size to get bigger, then there's going to be more insomnia, more traumatic stress, more obsessions and compulsions, more anxiety, more panic attacks, more traumatic stress flares, more flashbacks. So you have to know how to rewire the neural networks once you pinpoint the ones that need to be rewired. But if you rewire them in the right way, then they shift their shape and they create a completely different type of experience. And that's where insomnia stops, the traumatic stress stops, the anxiety stops, the panic attack stops, the obsessions and compulsions stop. Because the actual neural networks generating those experiences from within have completely changed their shape. And the original shape of what was creating those thoughts and feelings and action patterns and styles of personal experience, they no longer exist. What was there is now a completely different shape. It's a completely different neural network. So you have to know how to pinpoint the right neural networks, and you have to know how to transmute them. But once you do that, 100% of these internal battles can be 100% resolved. There is no such thing as an incurable mental health battle. There is no such thing as an incurable action patterned or behavioral health battle. Any kind of battle, whether it's insomnia, anxiety, OCD, depression, traumatic stress, any kind of personality disorder. And I use quotations because it's not a personality disorder, but that's what the world describes it as. So I want to reference it, but that's not what it is. Any of these things, addictions, any of it can be completely healed, 100% resolved when the right neural networks are addressed in the right way. Thank you so much for joining me for this Conversations with Kristin. It has been an absolute blessed, sacred honor to connect with you, beloved soul friends. If you'd ever like to connect one-on-one through a consciousness consulting call, I would be absolutely honored to serve as a healing journey guide for you. The cat got excited. I would be absolutely honored to serve as a healing journey guide for you. I want you to have all of the power in the whole wide universe to transform your life experience from the inside out. I would be absolutely honored. You can book a session with me or find out more about who I am and what I do at KristinWindsor.com. And that link is here in the video description below. So thank you so much for joining me. If you'd like to connect one-on-one, you can book a session with me. I also have other few healing journey offerings. You can explore them on my website. And there's a bunch of free gifts for you guys to get you started with rewiring your brain, rewiring your attachment systems, reprogramming your subconscious data, and really kind of changing things from the inside out. So you can visit KristinWindsor.com/gifts. And there's like dozens of free gifts for you guys. And a lot of them accompany videos. So you can kind of use that. It's enough to really get you started for free. Gifts of love from my heart to yours, because I want you to have all the tools in the absolute world to succeed in your healing journey. So please feel free to explore that, and to dive deeper, you can connect with me one-on-one by booking a session. Thank you so much for joining me for this Conversations with Kristin. I'm so grateful you're here. I'm so grateful that you are alive and breathing as your wondrously miraculous self. I'm so grateful that you're sharing this beautiful, beautiful space of planet Earth with me. And I'm really, 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 really proud of you for learning about these important topics. I'm really, really, really proud of you for investing in your healing journey just by sitting here listening to me, or standing or driving or whatever it is you're doing while you listen to me talk. Thank you, thank you, thank you for taking the time and the energy to learn about these important topics to help your healing journey. I'm really proud of you, and I'm really grateful for your courage. I'm really, really proud of you, and I'm really, really grateful for your courage. So thank you for being here, soul friends. Thank you for being you. And if you liked this video, if you learned something new, if you liked hanging out, or you just want to spread some overall love in the world, please feel free to hit the like and subscribe button. I really do appreciate your support on my channel as I share my healing journey messages. Thank you for being here, beloveds, and thank you for being you. Namaste, soul friends. The wondrous light in my miraculous consciousness sees and honors the wondrous light in your miraculous consciousness. I'm sending you infinite love, light, and divine blessings, beloved soul friends. Thank you, beloveds, for sharing this sacred healing time with me. I will see you next time for another Conversations with Kristin. Da, da, da.